When you're making use of virtual networks within Windows Azure, we've seen that one of the features that you can incorporate into this is the ability to create VPN access into those virtual networks. So we've actually gone ahead and already created one. The option that you can see right here, my new VPN network, and this particular one was a point to site VPN. So basically what that means is that any one particular client that I might have within my organization is able to use standard client software to be able to VPN into this virtual network. So just running through some of the settings that you see here, it's called My New VPN Network, and we've got the dashboard set up here that we can have a look at some of the settings. And there's the configure options and some of the certificates. But this is the main thing right here. Again, you see that it's based entirely on clients. So right here, you download the package to install on those clients so they can make their connections in. But the other option is, in fact, to create a site-to-site VPN. So we're going to have a quick look at how we can configure one of those. So what the difference is when you have a site-to-site network, VPN connection, in essence, you're connecting the entire network. So any client that is on that network is already available to see everything in the VPN connection. So in other words, you basically just tie your local on-premises network to your Azure one. So under our virtual networks option here, what you can see is that we have local networks. Under local networks, this literally is the address of one of your on-premise networks. So this is what you can use to add to the site-to-site. So we're just going to click on here to add a local network, and we're just going to call it my local network. And then note that you do have to supply a VPN device IP address. Now, I don't actually have a VPN device that I can use for this demonstration, but we can still go through the motions. So I'm just going to paste in an IP address of something that I know I have some level of access to, but that's not actually really a VPN device, but this will still work for the time being. So we can next on that. And then we're just going to set up whatever address space that we want to define for the local network that we have. So we'll just put in a fairly standard, in this case, standard 192, and we'll just go with the /24. And obviously this can be anything that suits your needs, and you can add in additional address spaces if needed right there. So that will set up and configure our local network. So this is our internal address space, and this is the VPN gateway to that. So that's going to go ahead and set that up. That'll only take maybe a few seconds, and we can check on that. It's just creating. But again, what the idea is now is to be able to, in essence, tie these two networks together so that we have a persistent, always on, always available VPN connection. So I think that might have completed. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go back to our networks here. And what you see again are the existing ones that we have. So we do still now have to create a new network. So we're going to go to our new option. And under virtual network, we are going to go with the custom create. And we're going to call this my site to site VPN. And the affinity group, again, just tries to keep everything in the same data center region, and we've already got that. If you don't have one, you can always create a new one. So there's what it's starting to look like. So there's our VPN, and we're going to next. And again, DNS servers, obviously, you do need them, but these can be entered later because you might not know what you're going to use for your DNS servers yet. So we can leave those blank. So in earlier examples, we saw the point to site VPN. In this case, we can now check to enable a site to site VPN. And since we've already created the local network, then there it is. So this is why you create the local network first, so that you can see that under the definition now. Now you do have the option to specify the local network at this point, but this makes it a bit simpler. So there we see the VPN device sitting in front of my local network. So we can click on next there. And again, what we can do is just alter the address space that we might want to use for the VPN, and we can add in our gateway subnet. And this is exactly what we did for the point to site VPN. And again, I'm just going to leave these at the defaults, but you can set those values to whatever you feel is appropriate. And that's going to set up our new site-to-site VPN. So again, the key thing is to have a local network first, and then supply the values as appropriate for when you set up your VPN connections. But we'll just let that go about its business, and we'll see a little bit later on how we can configure some of the options for the site-to-site connections.